Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
It is January 1st, 2022. You guys can see we're bundled up. It's really, really cold. We've had a fair amount of rain, at least consistent, not a whole lot of inches. We still only measured about 1.5 inches over the last week and a half or so. Nice and sunny and cold this morning. Gonna get really cold over the next few days, down into the 20s here in Whitman. So one of the things that you probably saw this morning is we're feeding a little bit different. That's because of the rain. So our big feeder, you'll see back there, we call it the piano feeder, fills up with water because we haven't figured out the right thing to keep the pigs from destroying, to cover the feeding flaps. So what we're doing is we're feeding them in bowls. You can see that here, and basically just feeding them as we're able to get out intermittently through the rain, and that seems to be working okay. We've been using wood chips down here to give them some bedding that they've really enjoyed. In fact, I got a piggy in there right now. Dealing with the weather obviously is something a little bit different for us. We're not used to that. But that's not what we're here for today. We wanted to start out the year right, and that was planting, kinda. And well, let me show you what we're gonna do today. You guys will recognize this spot here. This is one of our blackberry beds. This is actually the blackberry we took as a pup from the old farm a couple years ago. In fact, I'll see if I can find the video where we were actually creating the soil in this bed. And one of the things that we had a lot of questions on was whether or not that would actually work to build soil. And the reason we started the beds the way we did is we wanted to create soil naturally here on the farm that would encourage blackberry bushes to do what they do best, which is to root out and create additional blackberry bushes. So one of the things that we're starting to see here is just that. Now we have a couple of these pups, you saw that one there at my feet. We have a couple more that are coming up, and what's happening is they're coming up right along the root line. They're very happy with the soil that's been created with nothing but wood chips and just a tiny bit of compost here a couple years later. What we're doing is actually pulling out this perfectly healthy blackberry bush. Yes, I said pulling it out. What happened when we had this as a pup is we assumed this was our triple crown blackberry on the old farm, and it turns out it's probably a Primark. It's definitely not a triple crown. And we definitely want that variety here on the farm in addition to what is now these two Primark blackberries. So what we're going to be doing today is pulling this perfectly healthy blackberry bush out of this bed. And the reason is we have a triple crown that's on its way because of course it's planting season for us here with our deciduous bushes and trees. So one of the things we do have questions on is if you need to move a tree that you have in the ground, what the best time of year is. For your deciduous trees and bushes is to move them during the dormant season. It's not pushing out a tremendous amount of growth, and that is the best time to move these types of trees, or in this case, a bush, which is what we're doing today. So we're gonna go ahead and get to work on pruning some of this back, because as we eliminate some of the root material that's gonna remain with the bush that's being transplanted, we don't have enough to support a bush this size. So I have my Corona pruners here. I'm gonna go ahead and get this pruned down to a much smaller bush so we can get it out and transplant it up into its new home.
Look at this massive, like.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
We're up here at the front of the house, which is where we're going to transplant this. Before we went right to the transplant, I wanted to show you how these runners work off of your blackberries. This particular bush had actually split. We saw that happen during one of our windstorms over the summer. So there's actually two parts of it. There's another part in the wheelbarrow still. This is the main vine or bush here, and you can see how we've cut off the roots. Not worried about there not being any soil around this right now, because normally this is how these come to you during the wintertime as bare roots, and that's essentially all we've done. So what I wanted to show you, however, are these runners. So you can clearly see here how these basically grow from the roots. Here's one right here. They grow from the root mass underneath the ground, and then they push their way up and turn into a small blackberry plant. And this is actually how these canes work. So they'll grow from the ground to eventually replace the canes that we're seeing today over the next year or so. Just wanted to show you guys that here real quick before we bury these under the ground.
Do it like this.
Yeah.
Just a couple of those.
All right, so we got vitamin B1 mixed with water that we're gonna be using to help kickstart some of that root growth here, actually starting this winter. And also some Fertizona 15-15-15. This is a conventional fertilizer. We only use this when we do plant starts. We'll be fertilizing next month, so we're gonna go ahead and get the fertilizing done with this transplant and really give it a real strong shot of nutrition to get this thing jump started for this spring. Coming back, we are going to add some additional wood chips. We need to get irrigation to it. So this will have a couple of 4-gallon-per-hour emitters on there, so that way we can make sure that we're maintaining moisture. One of the reasons why we use the drip irrigation for bushes like this is they generally don't need as much water as a fruit tree is going to, and it's on the same zone as fruit trees. The second reason is we want to make sure we can spread the water out nice and wide wherever we see a pup come up, just like you saw here today. We want to make sure we can water that to allow this bush to continue to grow out this way in particular. We're actually going to encourage that to kind of fill in this gap that we had here at the front of the house where we look out onto the street. One last thing we're going to do that we won't be covering today is all of the branches that you saw us remove today. We are going to be utilizing those as cuttings to root out, and hopefully they'll take, and so we actually have some additional blackberry plants as we go into the spring and summer. A good start to the new year, right?
Yeah.
Got a lot of work done and a lot of small projects done. We've kind of been doing that, right? Yeah. But we got a lot of big stuff we have left to do this year. But we're really looking forward to this year. And obviously we've had a good start to the winter. We had some rain for off and on for a good week. And the temperatures are going to be down into a hard freeze tonight. So imagine if we had your mango tree.
Shut up.
Oh, what would we have to do tonight to have your mango tree survive upper 20s?
Some lights on it?
More than lights. We need some heat. But everything else is excited about that, right? So maybe not the piggies, but the plants are. Yeah. But we got the blackberry moved, so we're ready for the triple crown, which is good. And we have a few other trees coming in along with it, but we'll share that with you guys as it comes around. Oh, and then also, if you guys are not following us on Instagram and Facebook, we are going to try to post more often there. Definitely check out Instagram. We were able to get some cuttings off of the blackberries today, and got to hopefully get a good picture of that up there for you guys to take a peek at that. And maybe we'll have some available if they make it.
Yeah,
right?
we'll see.
We'll see about that. You guys know we really appreciate the time that you spend with us here. You know, here at the beginning of 2022, Lori and I are really excited about what the year has in store for us. And we're really glad that you guys spend the most precious and valuable thing that we have here on the planet. That is time, and you guys spend it with us. We don't take that for granted, so thanks for being here. If this is your first time joining us, this is our weekly vlog where we catch everybody up on what's going on around the farm, but would love to have you as a subscriber and share the content. It helps us here when you do that to kind of help spread the word as far as what we're doing here in the Arizona desert. Questions or comments, go in the comment section down below. And our Amazon shop, as always, a free, painless way to help support the channel. If you start with the link down below, it doesn't matter what you buy, you help to support us here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere,
so can you.
Now how do we get out of the tractor? You gotta move first, otherwise I gotta jump. What we're actually gonna be doing is digging up this perfectly healthy blackberry tree. It's not a tree, it's a bush. Oh, there we go. That's a cute family picture. It'll be this is like a modern American Gothic, chilling on my tractor. And it is really cold outside.
Oh my goodness, my nose is still frozen.
We actually kept like most of our clothes on this time.
That didn't sound good.
Oh. Wow, you caught that before I did.
If I would have said that, it would have been a whole different thing.
Oh, my mind has already moved on to this evening. Isn't that strange? I can't imagine what I mean by that.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways.
It's kind of weird, your voice behind my head.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Do you like it when my voice is behind your head? It's better than the conversation we had about the voices in your head.
Oh my goodness.
If my voice was in your head, what would that say?
It wouldn't stop.
Oh my goodness.
It would talk all day long.
Thanks. I don't have enough hater comments already about talking too much.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, maybe I am the talker between the two of us. There's no way around it. All right, it is what it is.